firstly, we'll start. Do you want to study the left out part of plant life, or want to go for a quick test of plant life? A few questions over this chapter.
Ma'am, I think we can go for a few questions.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just. I'll speak to you. I'll speak the question to you. Write the options, and you have to tell me which of the option is correct.
Okay.
Okay. So first question is, plants are living. There are a lot of biochemical reactions occurring in them. Which of the following reaction is light dependent? So the options are excretion, respiration, photosynthesis, and fourth is digestion. Should I repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Plants are living. There are a lot of biochemical reactions occurring in them. Which of the following reaction is light dependent?
Right.
So in the four options, can you tell me which of the process is light dependent?
Light dependent.
Yes,
Photosynthesis.
correct. Very good. So number 2, second question. Second question is, I'll speak that question. So the question is, kitchen of plant refers to which part of the plant?
Ma'am, it's leaves, ma'am.
Yes. So before hearing the options, you
Yes, ma'am, because I learned it in first standard in my school.
okay. The four options were leaf, stem, root, and D is plant.
Ma'am, but the first kitchen of the plant is food, right? The cotyledon.
What are you saying?
The first photos since the first kitchen is cotyledon, right, ma'am?
Yes, yes,
It's in the root part, so we can tell root.
yes.
There is no leaves.
So the next question is, the development of seed into seedling, which further develop to plant. So
And is it called germination?
very good. So the four options are, I'll write the four options. Your answer is correct. Conservation, seed dispersal, C.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. What is exertion?
What is
Exertion.
exertion means when you feel tired,
Plants don't feel tired.
when they don't get the necessary when their necessary requirements are not filled, then they feel tired.
Yes, ma'am. So plants also become tired when they don't have their necessary.
Correct. If tired and kind of, less of energy, so the energy would be less when we don't give the required material to them.
So plants also have tiredness and all.
Yes, not exactly, we cannot say the word tired, we'll say energy, less of energy.
Plants also feel that less of energy.
Yes, if the required material is not given to them, food or water. So have you seen, if we won't water the plants at our home, so how they look? The
They look
leaves are
very.
fallen downwards like this. So energy is less, and They are not in their correct posture. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So next question is, which of the following is harmful for crops? For crops. Okay. So I'm writing the options that which of the following is harmful for crops. So can you tell me from the four options that which of the option is harmful for crops?
Hails.
Hails. Very good. Correct. Because
Ma'am,
hail,
hails. Ma'am, what is hails?
hail is white ice stones which we get when rainfall,
Okay,
rain,
ma'am, hailstorms. Okay, okay.
hailstorms. In Hindi, we call it ole. Ole.
Okay.
Ole. Yes. So the next question is question number 5. That which of the following from given crops may be grouped as rabi crops? So you have to check the options that which of the given crops may be grouped as rabi crops. Okay. First is Swedish. Second is mustard. Third option is wheat. Fourth is watermelon. And fifth is paddy. So these are the options and that are given for you have to group the given crops in as rabi crops. So the options which you have to select, first option is first, second and third, sorry.
Ma'am,
And
what is actually rabi crops?
rabi crops are those which are irrigated in land. I mean, which we cannot find on plants or trees, but they need to be, the seed need to be, inserted in the soil. Then there, the crops would come up. So,
Okay, ma'am. Like if we from
for example, do you know how wheat is grown?
no, ma'am.
Do you know how wheat is grown?
No, ma'am.
How mustard is grown?
No.
You haven't seen the land where they are grown.
No, ma'am.
So suppose it's a huge land, and for uh, for mustard, I'm telling you, we just sprinkle the mustard seeds in the soil like this. We just sprinkle it and give the proper treatment, whatever required for its growing. For example, water and all this. So they get immersed in the soil. So after few days, they start growing. The plants start growing.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So rabi crops are those which are grown like this.
Oh, rabi crops are grown in a field.
In a field.
Okay.
Yes. So the A option is first, second, and third. That means first, second, and third means Swedish, mustard, and wheat. First, second, and fourth. C is third, fourth, and fifth. D is first, third, and fifth. So you have to select the correct option, correct grouping of the options for
Okay, ma'am,
Rabi
and
crop.
the A one is radish.
Yes. So
So, ma'am, I got actually B, C, and D.
why D?
So, ma'am, mustard, wheat, and paddy.
The correct answer is A. It's radish and mustard
Ma'am, is
and
it
wheat.
radish?
Radish, not
Rad-
radish. No, it's PV.
Oh, radish.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is radish?
Radish is kind of a crop like wheat only.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Radish, mustard, and wheat.
Okay, so should I move to next question?
1 second, ma'am. Ma'am, are these three only the rabbit crops or are they most?
From the options, only these three are rabi crops.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Have you written, Harshika?
1 second.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the next question is, what would you plant in soil to get a new rose plant in your garden? So the options are bud, stem, leaves, roots. What would you plant in soil to get a new rose plant in your garden?
Ma'am, maybe roots? Ma'am, maybe the roots of the plant?
Regarding rose, they are just asking about rose. What
Stem?
would you plant in soil to get a new rose plant in your garden?
Stem?
Yes, root answer is incorrect. Stem is correct because
Okay, ma'am.
if we want a new rose plant, so we have to cut the stem in a slant way. Like if this is the stem, so we have to cut like this. Okay, we have to put a cut like this. Then we have to insert it in another pot or wherever we want to.
Yes, ma'am, you told me stems of sugarcane and roses are used to grow new
Yes,
plants.
yes,
Cutting of stem is planted in the soil. We have to cut slant thingy. And
yes.
after something a new plant.
A new plant will be grown. So next question is, photosynthesis in plants does not require. So I'm giving you 4 options. You have to select what is not required in photosynthesis.
Now oxygen is not needed.
Yes, oxygen is not required, right?
Yeah.
So, so the last question, the seed dispersed by air or wind will have, I'm writing the option, the seed, you remember we have studied the dispersal of seeds.
Yes, ma'am.
So the seed dispersed by air or wind will have yes, Harshika.
Mm, all of these.
But the question is that not all of this is the answer. They are asking that seed dispersed by air or wind. So through air and wind, what kind of seeds, how seeds can be
Hair or pink?
dispersed? Air or wings? Yes, we studied this.
Yes, ma'am. But what is wings?
Hair or wings means they are the seeds can be can be I mean any insect can be can sit on the flower of that plant and
Ma'am,
it
so,
can transfer.
ma'am, what do they mean about wings?
Wings means I mean on that plant on that insect it can transfer it to other place. Okay,
I can't.
wings are very light, you know. Wings are very light,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the seeds can be, if the seeds can be put on that wings, so by air or wind, it can be moved from one place to another. If on wings, it is immersed in water,
Yeah.
so it cannot transfer because might be it can float, it can
Yes, ma'am. Wings. How will plants have wings?
they are not saying of plants.
Okay. The seed dispersed by air or wind
Uh,
will have a hair or wings.
these are these are the same thing, hair or wings, same thing. Hairs, you have you seen that the small parts of a plant where these kind of, I told you that we have seen small white kind of
Dandelions. Yeah.
huh? That what I have told you the name of that thing also. So this can move from one place to another just because it's very light. So they have said hairs or wings to the same thing, because if the things were different, then they used and. But here they have used or. Hair or wings means very light thing, because air or wind can move this, right? If it's heavy, they cannot move.
Yeah, ma'am. So the seed dispersed by air or wind will. Ma'am, is it air or wind or water?
Air or wind, not water. I
Okay,
have
ma'am.
given you the example of water.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Will be very light. That's what they mean.
Yes. So, mm, so now the questions are over. So now we will be moving to the further part of the chapter. Are you able to see this page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is the further part of the chapter. So first of all, they talk about the fundamentals, which we have studied before. So
Okay.
first is paddy, wheat, and maize are monocot plants, right?
Ma'am.
That belong to the grass family, right?
Yeah.
That we have studied. Second, pea, gram, and other pulses are dicot plants, and they belong to leguminous family.
Okay, ma'am. So the dicot plants belong to the leguminous.
Leguminous family and monocots to the grass family.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is monocot plants have one cotyledon, right? And
Yeah.
dicot plants have two cotyledon in their seeds. Next is, are you writing something?
Okay, ma'am. Just noting down the leguminous family.
Okay. Because we have already write down all these, right?
Yes, ma'am. Because the leguminous family you didn't tell me. That's
Okay. So write down whatever is not we have not studied before.
okay, ma'am.
Okay. Then regarding gymnosperms, gymnosperms are a group of plants that bear naked seeds, right? Gymnosperms, naked seed, and angiosperms. What about angiosperms?
Enclosed.
Enclosed seeds, right? Should I move further?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So mushroom are grown in dark places. It doesn't undergo photosynthesis, right? We have studied this.
Yeah.
Rather, it feeds on dead and decayed organic matter. Mushroom is an exception,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we'll study the types of plants on the basis of habitat.
Okay, ma'am.
Habitat means where they can get all the necessary requirement for their growth
Okay, ma'am.
and development. So first is terrestrial plants that grow on land. First category. So terrestrial plants that grow on land are mango, pine, and coconut.
Okay, ma'am.
So the first is the desert plants. So the leaves are reduced into spines, right? They have swollen stem to store water and long roots, for example, cactus, right? These are the characteristics of desert plants.
Okay, ma'am.
If you don't want to write, you can either take a screenshot of this. I mean,
Yes,
whatever.
ma'am. I actually note down if I don't know. Actually,
Okay. If you don't know anything,
if
so
something
you can.
is very new, I will write it.
Okay. So next is plants in hot and humid places remain evergreen and never shed leaves. For example, coconut and neem. Okay. Then plants in plains. They have branches and leaves, shed leaves in autumn. Maple tree, right?
Ma'am.
Then the plants of hilly areas. Tall plants with lot of branches of flowers, for example, pine and cypress.
Okay, ma'am. So plants in the plains will shed their leaves.
Yes, in autumn.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
In hilly areas, so that means in north part of India, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the example are pine. So the plants are very tall with a lot of branches of flowers.
They will also have flowers.
Yes. With a lot of branches of flowers, yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, so some have flowers like cones, right?
Some have flowers like
Cones.
Cones, yes, in shape of cones. Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So next is aquatic plants grow in water. So plants that grow in water are lotus and Phyllosneria. So
Okay.
their feature is, first is, we talk about floating plants. So float plants, plants that float on the surface of pond, lake, right? Their example is water hyacinth and duckweed.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Next is submerged plants. Submerged means they are on the above the surface of the water and below also.
Okay, ma'am.
Submerged. So these plants, they breathe through the, submerged means they are within the water. They are
Okay.
not above the level of
Okay, ma'am.
pond or anything. They are within the water, fully within the water. So they breathe through the body surface and have no pores on the leaves. Their example is Hydrilla and Villisneria.
Ma'am, what is Willisneria?
Is a kind of plant that is grown inside the sea, inside water.
Okay, ma'am. Hydrogen. Willisneria. Okay, ma'am.
So next category is air plants, and we call it as epiphytes.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
these are those that live on trees.
Okay.
Okay. So their example is mosses and orchids. So why they have told this as air plants? Because they are not permanently rooted in soil. As they are saying, those live on trees. So they are not rooted in soil. They
Okay.
have developed root system, stem not extensively developed, and reduction in leaf number.
Um, permanently. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So next category is marshy plants that has breathing roots to take air from atmosphere. So marshy plants example is mangroves
Okay, ma'am.
So marshy plants are characterized by luxuriant growth and often have large leaves.
Ma'am, luxuriant growth means they grow a lot. Right?
Yes. Next is they close to the water's edge. There is no shortage of water for growth. So they are grown near the water pond or rivers. So these kind of. So
Okay.
plants, so they can have a lot of water. There is no problem of water for them. So
Okay.
plants in this region can therefore afford to have large leaves since excessive loss of moisture from the foliage is not a problem. Right? Moisture is intact as water is there.
Yes, ma'am. 1 second, ma'am. I'm just.
Yes, yes. I'm not moving that thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So next is we'll understand about different plants
Okay.
and their features. Adaptation in different plants. So first is Vallisneria. So we have studied about Vallisneria that
Yes, ma'am.
it is submerged plants that have pores on leaf surface to breathe, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So next is water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is floating plants. They have long stem and broad leaves that are buoyant.
What is buoyant?
Buoyant means it does not depend that if the water is more, they will immerse in water. They have such huge, broad leaves, so the force cannot dip that leaf inside the water.
Okay, ma'am. So they floating plants have long stems and broad leaves.
Broad leaves. So
Okay.
have you seen in ponds or see? Have you seen? I mean, where lotus is? Have you seen lotus?
Yes, ma'am.
Lotus plantation.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Once I even plucked a lotus and I
so the
I put
leaves.
water on it and saw the water not wetting it.
Yes, and the leaves of lotus, so they float over the water, right?
Hmm.
So next is the desert plant. So desert plants have leaves reduced to spines because they have in deserts they have very less broad leaves. They are reduced to spines. Spines means
Okay, ma'am.
very thin kind of leaves to prevent water loss through transpiration. So spines, why they are reduced to spines? That prevent water loss through
Okay,
transpiration.
ma'am.
And
Ma'am,
long
actually,
Hmm.
ma'am, so the water hyacinth has a buoyant means it has a large leaves, right?
Leaves,
I
leaves.
mean, buoyant. What is the meaning of buoyant, ma'am?
If they have broad leaves, so
Okay, ma'am.
the broad leaves are that kind of, I mean, they cannot immerse in water. They float on water.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
So water plants, floating plants leaves doesn't submerge in water. Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So have you written about desert plant or you don't have to?
Ma'am, actually,
Don't. Okay. So next is Drosera. So it is an insectivorous plants that are attractive and colorful to attract insects and birds. So they
Okay.
trap insects inside it and can eat it.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is lotus. So next category is lotus. So the fixed plants have long hollow stem. The stem of the lotus is hollow and to provide support, and broad leaves to provide buoyancy. Same as water hyacinth, we have broad leaves of lotus also.
Okay, ma'am. 1 second. I'll just write about lotus.
Okay. The stem is hollow in case of lotus.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So next category is plants that are growing in hilly areas. So what are the features? So plants growing in hilly areas, they have they have leaves that are reduced to shaped, needle shaped, which allow snow to slip off the leaf surface.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, the leaves are not broad at hilly areas. So we have plants like pine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and the last category is marshy plants. So marshy plants we have studied. They have air breathing roots to absorb nutrients from the air.
Yes, ma'am.
Now next is, we have studied this before also,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
a seed is a part of a fruit which gives birth to a new plant, right? It is surrounded and protected by seed coat. A seed requires water, oxygen, and optimum temperature to germinate.
Okay, ma'am.
So then seed dispersal is the phenomena of carrying the fruits or seed to distinct areas in order to spread them, right? Seed dispersal. So seed dispersal is the movement of the seed from one place to another, right?
Yes, ma'am. 1 second. The charge just went.
Okay. So next is fruit and seeds are dispersed so that young plants can get sufficient space, light, water, and nutrients to grow well. right?
Ma'am.
So these are the various methods that we have studied before also, just to recall it. So method of seed dispersal, first by wind. So the fruits or the seeds are usually small and light or have large surface area so that they can be carried easily by the wind, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So the example of these kind of plants are cotton, poppy, maple, drumstick. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So plantation, the method of seed dispersal by water. So the fruits or seeds usually have a
Ma'am,
fibrous
actually, I
structure.
can't understand one thing. Small
Yes.
light have large surface area means.
Large surface area means the seeds are usually small and light or have large surface area and carried easily. Means the fruit or the seeds are they are small, but the surface area is large so that they, if when they fall on a place where they can be grown, so the surface area of the seed is broad, so that
They're small, but they are broad.
they are broad so that they can easily swift away by the wind, because if their width is more, so they cannot be swept by wind also, right? So they have flat kind of seeds, so that can move with the wind.
Okay, ma'am.
So the surface area would be more, because the seeds are like this, they are not the width is not more.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so
One
next,
second.
yes,
One minute, ma'am.
yes,
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
yes. So which one you read? The first one only,
Yeah,
because
you only
I,
finish.
yes, tell me.
Nothing. You can tell, ma'am.
Okay, because I was thinking that you are reading all of them, so I
No,
was
ma'am, I wasn't reading them. I was just writing. Wait.
okay. So by when you have written.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so second is
I
by,
just wrote just a large surface area. So dispersal by wind, the seeds are flat.
yes, the seeds are flat. They have large surface area. So by water, the fruits or seeds usually have a fibrous structure. That fibrous structure means that is not heavy. It can float on water. So
Okay.
the seed would be fibrous. It is not heavy. It means that it won't immerse in water, and it will float on water.
Okay.
Okay. So for example, like coconut outside of the coconut is uh,
Hmm.
is very light, right? It
Yeah.
will float. Lotus, water lily, hydrilla. So all the
So
seeds,
fibrous structure means very light.
fibrous structure means fibrous means kind of fiber. If you saw the outside of coconut, it's fibrous,
Yeah.
right? It's very light and can float on water. Next is, are you writing?
Yes, ma'am.
So next is by animals. So the fruits which are sweet and juicy are eaten by animals, and the seeds are usually not digested or dropped out, right? The animals would eat the fruit and they would drop the seed of that fruit wherever they want. So, for example, guava, mango, berry. So, wherever the seeds are fallen, a new plant will grow if it gets
Yeah.
all the necessary requirements. So, these, by the help of animals, uh, seeds can be dispersed. Next is by explosion. The fruits dry up and split open or release or scatter the seeds inside. So, for example, balsam, pea, and geranium, right? So, if the fruits are not eaten, so they are dried up and they are fallen from the tree. So they'll be light. They'll move from one place to another. So they dry
Yeah,
up
they'll,
and split
they'll dry up
open,
and burst open.
burst. They'll split open. So they release. So release or scatters the seed inside that fruit. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so next part is reproduction. Reproduction in plants, we have studied asexual and sexual reproduction, right?
Yeah.
Then I think we haven't studied the artificial means of vegetative propagation.
No, ma'am.
Yes. So first is how artificially we can propagate a new plant. So
Ma'am,
first,
what is propagation?
propagation means um, making of a new plant. How without any
We can do it.
we can do it. Artificial means the nature won't do it. We have to do it. Humans have to
Okay.
do it. So first method is cutting. So like cutting in rose, bougainvillea, and sugarcane, etc., can grow into new plants when put in soil, right?
Okay,
So
ma'am.
rose, sugarcane, so they all grow up when we put a part of the plant inside water, inside soil, right? So next is grafting. So it is the technique in which stem of one desired plant is inserted on the root of other desired plant.
Yes, ma'am. Like
So have you
sometimes they just take out the plant and put the stem.
yes,
Like banana.
have you seen a double colored rose where in a single rose you can see yellow color also and red color also, pink color also.
Oh, okay.
So this is the method of grafting. So when the two color plant, for example rose, so when yellow and pink rose, so the stem and roots are taken of both the different kind of rose. So they grafting is done. So a new
So,
plant will
so
grow.
half of it will be yellow, half of it will be pink.
Yes. Have you seen this kind of roses where double shade in one single flower?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next is third is layering. When bark removed from the branch of a plant is bent down and touches moist soil growing upwards. So layering means when a plant is there, so the the
Ma'am, so
branches
when the so in the
branches
so if there's a trunk, like
Mhm. Mhm.
if this is the trunk, ma'am,
Yes.
there'll be bark on top. So this is the bark. So
Mhm.
slightly comes down and touches the ground, a new plant will grow from it, and that's why. So one plant is here, from that itself another plant will
Another plant will grow. Yes. So for example, jasmine, strawberries, and grapevine. Okay.
grow. Okay, ma'am.
So do you want to write it all this
No, ma'am, I took a
or
screenshot.
screenshot? Because even the time is less. So even I was about to say that you can take a screenshot. So now these is about crops. So plants of one kind grown in a particular area or region during a particular period are called crops because they have particular period in which they can be grown, right? For a
Hmm.
particular uh, kind of crop. So first is kharif crop. So like rice, maize, jowar and bajra, they are grown in summer season. Next, rabi crops, wheat, barley and gram, they grow in winter season. Then oil producing crops, sunflower, groundnut, coconut, mustard and peanuts. The next is fiber producing crops like cotton, jute, cash crops, which are raw materials for industries like rubber,
Yes,
tea,
ma'am. Sugar
coffee.
cane. The sugar cane is used for sugar.
Yes, for sugar. Next is food crops for food material, paddy and wheat, and medicinal plants we have studied we use for herbal medicine, aloe vera, ashwagandha, margosa, wood apple,
Apple. Yes,
right?
ma'am. So food crops means even rice can come, right?
Yes, rice will can also come.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Just ask.
So these all this in today's class. So now in this chapter, I think we have completed all the necessary topics. Yes. So all the topics of this chapter is completed. So now on Wednesday, so now firstly tell me what are the topics that you want to study in the last chapter,
The last chapter.
because I just want to either we can have a test of this chapter or
Ma'am, I think, ma'am, next class we just complete this chapter with the test,
yes.
and then we will do the human body. Like half of the class will be test and half of the class we can continue.
Okay, so just tell me, just check and tell me what are the topics.
Sure, ma'am. I'll just send it by today evening.
Okay, by today evening, and what which chapter test you want to have? Plant life, right?
Plant life, yes.
Because in that the topics will be completed, then we'll have the test of that chapter.
Okay, ma'am.
Human body. Okay, so firstly plant life. Okay, so plant life test, then the topics of the chapter. So just send me the topics.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, okay,
Sure.
okay, Harshika.
Okay,
See
ma'am.
you
Thank
on
you, ma'am.
Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.